next category.
Your bhabhi is in Bangalore anyways. I have nowhere to go. And I'm not shooting a film right now, so honestly, there is no place I'd rather be.
Okay, and call out their name and they'll ask you a question.
Okay, ji. Vaibhav Vijay Patil.
Hello, sir. Hello, ma'am. It's an honor speaking to you. My question to you is this. A few years back, I watched your movie, Bajrao Mastani. And just 5 minutes into the movie, I was like, whoa, best decision of my life. Have you experienced such whoa moment watching any movie recently?
Which scene was it?
Like the whole movie. Like, I felt like you are the Maratha warrior. Like the blood of the Maratha warrior flows into you.
Sometimes, I must tell you, when you're playing these characters who you know are historical characters and have such reverence in their community, it becomes, the onus comes on you. You have to really, do justice to it. It takes,
do it right.
Yeah. And because it means a lot to a lot of people. So 5 minutes in, that was probably bhai ki entry pe aapne wo bola hoga.
Yes, sir.
चिता की चाल, बाज की नजर और बाउजी
I love it too. So,
I'll tell you funny stuff from that day. So this is the early years of Bajirao. So it wasn't, I didn't even have a stubble on my takla. It was just like pure takla. So Sanjay Bansali looks at the monitor first thing in the morning. He's like, your face is looking like an egg. You're looking like an anda. I think we'll take your back shot first. Hatao camera, piche rakho. Thopda nahi dikha sakte aisi halat.
really?
Yeah. And yeah, then that dialogue with, now that I look at the film back, I feel like I could have chopped that pause. I feel like I watch it, I'm like, thoda kam pause, thoda kam ho sakta tha, sir. So it was a proper dialogue, huh? It was like there on paper and you can see it. It's popping out to you. It's like, yeah, what dialogue?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
चिता की चाल, बाज की नजर और बाजीराव की तलवार पे संदेह नहीं करते. You know it. What's the rest of it? I had a woe moment, sir. I watched RRR in theaters recently. And I had dozens of whoa moments. It was like 3 hours of just whoa.
Yeah.
That's Mr. Rajamouli cinema for you. It just like, it gets you out of your seat. You can barely even sit.
Yeah.
I absolutely loved it. When I got out of my seat the first time in RRR was that sequence where they're trying to save the boy. And जब भी दो हीरो का हाथ ऐसे आता है ना, I was like, Rajamouli. So yes, RRR, war movie, and if you haven't seen it, you're missing out. Aisha Panchal.
Hi, hello everyone. Hi. Your question is that if you have given any chance to recreate any iconic role of your favorite from world cinema, which role it can be?
Wow, I have a couple that come to mind immediately, but I'd first like to invite suggestions from the audience. आजा सर फोन निकालो सेल्फी करेंगे सर आपने एक्चुअली मेरे दिल की बात बोल ली Al Pacino. That was it. That was my first instinct.
Yeah.
When you asked the question, Aisha, the first thing that popped in my head was Scarface.
You'd be very good.
We actually made Scarface in Hindi cinema a couple of times, actually,
Versions.
Yeah, Agnipath is pretty much Scarface and Vastav is pretty much Scarface and I love all three. So, yeah, Scarface comes to mind immediately. I think there's something just so, oh my God, it's just something so attractive about Tony Montana. You know, yeah, cockroaches.
But I think you'd also be amazing as John Travolta in Saturday Night Fever.
Okay. Yeah, I'm on.
Hannah?
I'm on. I'd cast Karan Johar to direct it.
Yeah. Yes, yes.
The other one that comes to mind is The Wolf of Wall Street. So these are a couple I'd like to do. Joker, Gladiator. And to be super honest, the Joker, I really like, I definitely in the process of creating Khilji, watched The Dark Knight a few times. In the process of creating Bajirao, I watched a Gladiator a few times. So there's definitely something there which those most wonderful artists have put out there that is so infectious that you can learn from, draw from. But I would love to do my own version of Scarface, and I would love to do my own version of The Wolf of Wall Street.
Nice. Okay, last question.
Thank you. Last 3 questions. Yash Dhabalia.
Hi, ma'am. Pleasure to meet you, sir, ma'am. So there have been many moments in your movies that have been very special. But what is that one scene in the past 10 years for you that after the director said cut, you just went back to your vanity and you just felt good about that moment that you have reached a point?
Ram Leela!
You know, huh? You know. There are often times where cut is called and you can't immediately switch off from what was just happening. If you're really present and in the moment, and then cut is called and it kind of disturbs you in a way. It kind of throws you off. You're like, oh, okay. And you're not still ready to let go of that feeling that you're carrying. So sometimes it spills over. And sometimes not comfortable feelings. As a performer, you have to cultivate this habit of being comfortable in that discomfort. So even after cut is called, if you're performing a sort of emotionally testing or difficult scene, it'll still continue, and you have to live that, you know. But put in another context, Ram Leela, like the lady mentioned, sometimes you just get lost, you know. Like I remember this one instance where Ram and Leela are. Yeah. They are lost in each other in a very passionate lip lock. And literally, because everything on Mr. Bhansali's film happens for real, very, very, you know, it's almost like there are very little visual effects, you know. It's like everything is shot. It's like, so we were on the bed in this lip lock, and literally in the scene, that lip lock is disturbed by a brick coming through the window. A whole brick, now literally on set where Deepika and I are performing, and literally there is a brick thrown through a window. You know, it shatters the glass and everything. But in the first take, Deepika and I were kissing and were so lost that the brick is come. These two are still at it. That's when Mr. Bhansali knew. He was like, "Ye dekh, nakki." So yeah, sometimes you get lost. Oftentimes I walk back to the van, and my closest aide, my lifeline, my backbone, Kaushal, who is witness to all the chaos and madness that happens behind the scenes, he's my closest man, and he gets to see it because he'll be with me by my side. I go back to my space, and I'm still reeling from what's happened. It used to happen during Padmavat a lot. I have no control over it. I'm so immersed in it in the moment that coming out of it becomes a task. So oftentimes I go back to the vanity van and it's still continuing, and then you do something else to distract yourself to come out of it or something. But yeah, oftentimes I don't look back and I'm like, wow, it's not like the shortcut is called and I'm like, wow, kya shot diya maine. It's not like that. But oftentimes I'm so lost that it takes some time to get out of the shot. Happened on Jayeshbhai as well. And there are some times when cut is called and then I find myself, it happened once during Dil Dhadakne Do, I can't remember when else, but Bajirao, like cut is called and you're holding so much emotion, cut is called and then it just comes pouring out. It's like I go to the side and I'm bawling, like literally, like zor se crying. Like, that's not what was happening in the scene. You're just holding that emotion. For the context of the scene, you're holding it. Then when cut is called, it just comes out. So there have been instances where Zoya has taken me to a corner and she's holding me while I'm like, it's like crying like a baby, like bawling. So yeah, but that's I love it. This is what being a performing artist means. I actually love and I cherish those moments when I've been so present and really lived, some moment of truth between action and cut. Those are signs of a performance going well.
Nice.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Who do we have?
Okay, last one, Ranveer.
The second last one. Correct. Ehsan. What if your last name was Faramosh? What would you do? It sounds like a possible Parsi surname, Faramosh.
I get to hear that a lot, but it's actually Ahsan.
Oh,
Ehsan.
Yeah, it's an Arabic word which means
Which
best.
means?
Best.
best.
Yeah, Ahsan. That's how they call it.
Best.
Yeah, best. Like good,
आपके
better,
पेरेंट्स ने कोई गुंजाइश ही नहीं छोड़ी.
काफी उम्मीद थी.
Great name, bro. Ehsan.
So, thanks Anapuzha. My question to you is, आपने काफी इंटरव्यूज में बोला था कि सिम्बा का कैरेक्टर काफी चैलेंजिंग था आपके लिए, राइट? मुझे ये जानना था कि कौन सा ऐसा सीन है जो आपके लिए बहुत ज्यादा चैलेंजिंग था और क्यों था? Any specific one?
I think evenly distributed from start to finish, Simba was just challenging to pitch. Because that's proper mainstream masalas. The volume turned up on everything. It's like front-footed, balls out. Like, it's just like, it's the kind of cinema we were discussing earlier. Now to pitch that correctly is a great big challenge. Because it's such a fine line.
Yeah.
You can fall at any time. It can become too much anytime. And there was one such scene. I've never ever said this before. But there was one such scene in the initial part of the shooting of Simba, which Sir felt that he was like, this I thought was just too loud, we can temper it a bit, temper, no pun intended. There was one such scene, which, by the way, didn't make the cut. Also, partly due to it wasn't really required in the narrative. It was like fat. We were chopping out the fat. Bhai was. But those are especially challenging because, like I said, it's a fine line to make that genre, to make a performance within that genre, to make that kind of performance still feel authentic is a challenge because it is a very fine line that you're walking in terms of pitching. And pitching is more than 70-80% of just about achieving, the journey into any world of any film. Once you get, जैसे कि हमारे filmmakers बोलते, they call it the sur. Sur कैसा था? Sur कैसा है? How's the pitch? Once you achieve that, it's more than half the work done. But achieving that in Simba was very challenging because when I've watched those types of films, I've always felt that this can be better, that this can be more effective, this can be more authentic. It's not like anger to sadness to it's not like
Extremes,
that. You can still put in a performance within that genre, which when Simba came out, I was very happy, very proud and very grateful that that was recognized. It was one masala film that was actually got great reviews, and like three and a half stars on an average. Like that was amazing for a film like Simba. It's proper as mainstream. It's a Rohit Shetty and team production. It's like it's a Rohit Shetty film, but still within that to put in a performance to make that film effective, because it's Simba, it's first frame to last frame, you're there throughout, it's in and as Simba. So, when to be that goofy, yet that serious, you're still dealing with the subject matter, which is no joking matter. But in the initial half of the film, you're still this larger than life, colorful goofball. But then to have that switch over and then to become that guy who stands up and, to pitch those dramatic scenes. There were many aspects to Simba. There were the comic scenes. There were the same guy is doing all this. He's all doing almost slapstick comedy, yet doing that interval scene, yet going into the courtroom in the third half and having that, doing those scenes. So to pitch, to construct that performance, the goofiness, the changeover, the seriousness, to bring it all together to still make it a cohesive and effective performance was a big challenge. So therefore, if I have to rate my own work, Simba for me is the highest rated, because pitching that is actually the biggest challenge. And it doesn't get talked about. When you talk about performance, you'll talk about, oftentimes instinctively people will say maybe perhaps Khilji, Gully Boy, or Lutera, or stuff like that, Bajirao. These are the ones that come up. But the real marks go to a performance, for me, go to a performance like Simba. That's the tough stuff. And if you can do it, high marks.
That's why we're calling you chameleon.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you. Okay, guys.
And
Okay, this is the last speech. This is the
ये
last
तो
one.
करने आए chit chat. Shruti Varghese.
Hi. My question is, if you only had one opportunity to tell only one story, either behind the camera or in front of the camera, what would it be and why?
I actually did write a couple of scripts. So I have stories to tell. Not ready yet, to be honest. I think it takes a lot of courage to be a filmmaker, to be a writer. It's like being an actor is super convenient, right? It's not mine. I'm just the tool, just the vehicle. But it takes a lot of courage to have that degree of responsibility when you're creating material. So yeah, I did write a couple of scripts. In fact, there was one I wrote as the final project in script writing class in university. And the entire 6 months process led up to this one thing, that you're a proper 130-page brown script. And I remember the guy, the professor, he called me into his office on the final day. And he said, I've been teaching this class for 30 years. This is the best script I've ever read.
Wow.
That's amazing.
And he said to me, I will be surprised if you can't go out there and get this made immediately. He gave me an A++.
Wow. That's amazing.
Where is that script?
That script is buried. I'll never make it. Only because I think that story has been told. It's very difficult to write scripts. It's almost like every story is every narrative literally that's worth telling has been told, and you're just making versions of it, and it's not far from the truth. So that I made that in like our run, what that was like 2007 or something. And then I wrote another one, and I actually narrate it oftentimes to filmmakers to get their feedback, to see what do they think. Do they really think this has any? Because it's a wild idea. I won't reveal it, but it's got a lot of black humor, and one day I'll make it. One day I will, but I have to muster up the courage to reach there. If I could direct one movie though, I would love to make and tell the Mahabharata. Yeah. That is one story that must be realized on celluloid, I really feel like somebody has to make it. We had the TV series, cult TV series, of course, but the Mahabharata has got to be made. It's just waiting to be made into a movie, into like a trilogy, or even like a 6-part, 7-part mega cinema experience that will blow the lid off any cinema lover, watcher, maker in the world. Mahabharata is just waiting to be made into a film.
Yeah.
And there are so many prominent and eminent film personalities that have dabbled in actually realizing this great dream. And I think it's around the corner, and I hope it happens. I hope I can be some part of it. And they have their time. If they don't make it in the next 20 years, I'll make it.
I hope somebody makes it and you play Karna, my favorite character. Right?
You heard it here first.
The good guy on the wrong side.
Good guy on the wrong side. I like it. Layers, baby. Give it to me.
Well, I have to end by telling you that first interview you did with me, you talked about being a director.
Uh-huh.
And you said, I'm going to direct one day. It's the ultimate dream. And you said, the thing is, you probably won't like what I make. I don't think
I'll change that.
I will change it
I'll go
too.
back. I think you're going to love it.
I think so too.
I think you love it.
Yeah.
I think, yes, it will definitely have that big screen spectacle value.
As it should.
But in the emotion will be all there. I'm also growing as a man of cinema. So slowly my courage is building up to write and to direct, and it'll be a while. I'm really enjoying the acting stuff now, and it's keeping me super busy, and I'm extremely grateful for all these wonderful opportunities. But I'm pretty sure कि वो कीड़ा काटने लगा है, और when the itch will get too much, then I'll definitely scratch it.
Excellent.
13-15 साल के बाद
13-15 साल के बाद
में आप
Directed by.
आप ऐसी ही दिखेंगी हम.
Sure.
मैं और भी हॉट हो जाऊंगा. हाँ, थोड़ा white आ जाएगा.
All the better, no, to direct with.
Yeah, and I'll give those director wise, big daddy, sullen eyes. I'll play the part.
You will.
Yeah,
You will.
Yeah. Just yell at people all day, break spirits.
But until then, we will enjoy what you do on screen. Ladies and gentlemen, I have to stop. Ranveer and Jayeshbhai is in theatre.